Hi, I am Hien, Professor of Sociology and Interdisciplinary Social Sciences. I'm also the Coordinator of Asian American Studies. One of the things that I like to invite students to do is actually think about majoring in Asian American Studies. One of the good things about majoring in Asian American Studies is that it's an interdisciplinary social science major, which means that you'll take classes from us in our program, but you can also supplement it with classes from, for example, sociology, economics, political science, history, and so on. And to that degree, you'll be able to really understand the experiences and contemporary issues that all of us are dealing with in terms of race relations, but specifically focusing on Asian American studies. San Jose State is ideally located for this kind of study and research, primarily because we are at the center of Silicon Valley. We're also where one of the two oldest Japanese American community center is located. We have the second largest Vietnamese American communities in the United States of America. We're an hour away from San Francisco Chinatown, where you can do a lot of study about that. Daly City is where a lot of Filipino Americans are. And finally, we have a large group of South Asians who have migrated here in the 1990s and 1980s and have called Silicon Valley home. So as such, you'll be able to really focus on a lot of things that students are interested in. So for example, cultural diversity, historical understanding of different groups, how to interact with different groups, but also a deep understanding of how race, how class, how relationships, and how culture have shaped in developing Silicon Valley. So Asian American Studies is an interdisciplinary study that utilizes a lot of the social sciences to supplement our focus. So for example, from history, we look at what were the conditions that allowed people from Asia to come to the United States, what were the conditions that they faced once they come to the United States, and how they have tried to both acculturate it and contribute it to the American society. One of the other things about Asian American Studies is that there are contemporary issues that we look at to understand how race relations, how class relations, how ethnic and gender relations have played out in the United States of America. As a result of that, one of the things that we do and we provide for the students is to be able to understand how truly interdisciplinary social science works, how to work with the communities, but also to provide opportunities for them to work within the communities. For example, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is that we are able to provide students with internships so that they can work in the community. For example, the Japanese American community, the Vietnamese American community, Filipino American community, or the Chinese American community. One of the other communities that we're trying to work well with recently is actually the South Asian American community. To that extent, for those who are interested in global studies, international relations, that would be really important and crucial to the understanding of how these communities have contributed and participated in the development of the American society. One of the other things I wanted to also invite you to do, if you don't want to major in Asian American Studies, is to minor in Asian American Studies. One of the advantages of minoring in Asian American Studies is that you'll have a tremendous amount of knowledge about a very important population, especially in both Silicon Valley, California, but the United States as well. Whatever field you happen to be going into in terms of your professional careers, having the knowledge of Asian American Studies and how they've come to the United States, the issues that they've dealt with, and the contribution that they have made will help you in your job. One of the things about diversity is the interactions that we need to be able to do with other communities. In addition to that knowledge, you'll also be required to work on certain skills. So for example, you can work on your writing skills, you can work on your research skills, and the most important thing is to work on your understanding of how different people see the world and how they have come to Silicon Valley and California and call it home. So if you are interested, for example, in working in any company in any place in the United States, but more importantly in California, this will be a tremendous advantage. You'll have the knowledge of a community that's up and coming, that's large, that has a long legacy, that has a long history, and you'll be able to understand how to interact with them to be able to solve a lot of the major problems and issues that you'll be encountering as you work in the workplace.